We're going to open the April 16th Selectmen's meeting. Open session public meetings are subject to being videotaped. Your image and voice may be recorded. We have an appointment at 7:10. We have a few minutes. We also have some meeting minutes from April 10th. This was with the Finance Committee.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have no appointments. Request for town photographer for 3 p.m. Is that the right one? Is that the-
Yes.
Okay. Saturday, April 20th at the Egg Hunt, co-sponsored with Recreation at the South Common, 34 South Street.
You
Do
good?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I had reached out to the item, and they don't know if they would be there, but said if you were going to be there, then wanted to pass pictures along.
I'll be there.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bring your boots. It's going to rain.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. And there's no rain date, is there?
Nope.
I thought
Rain
you,
or shine.
You had to move inside though, didn't you? Or not?
But we were going to, but we figured with all the age groups that it would just be impossible to try and stage for the little kids and then try and stage for the next one, then try and stage for the next one.
Well,
So
it's
we
only
said-
Monday, though. I mean, weather changes.
Yeah, so
So,
we're going to go, rain or shine,
right. All right, we
after all
have,
this work.
I know,
We're going, rain or shine.
yeah. We have a reserve fund transfer, municipal building expenses. The amount requested is $8,900. Present balance is $6156.35. Sound right?
Yes.
All right, I should have asked June, sorry. This is for miscellaneous repairs and services. Paid to date is $32,529. Oh, okay.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we need to sign this one too, Mary?
Yes.
Finance committee members? No.
Dave should sign too, for department head.
Okay, then are we doing it
The
down
yellow.
here? Oh, the
No.
yellow. Oh, it's you, clerk.
Pick me, pick me.
There's so many things.
Alrighty.
Okay, Dave, you can sign that whenever. Want to sign it now?
It's very easy to forge. Don't look at me like I had 16. Thank you.
Okay. Special event approvals. There's the Trooper Clardy 5K road race, Saturday, June 8th at Hudson High School.
Motion
And-
to approve.
Seconded.
Okay, we have everyone signed off?
Yes.
Terrific. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh. And we also have the Bicycles Battling Cancer, Sunday, June 9th, at Hillside School in Marlborough. Both of these will be going through Berlin.
Motion to approve.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Just in case we need to post a meeting for the two dates of two presentations, there's a Finance Committee FY20 presentation at 19 Carter, April 23rd at 7 p.m. And the Community Conversation on Marijuana at 19 Carter on April 24th at 7 p.m.
Tuesday to Wednesday?
Yes, I believe so.
We don't have to actually post these unless we're attending as a board. We can attend as
Well,
citizens.
right. We don't have to post, you're correct. I think the community conversation, there was an email to all of us to say, will we be attending?
Mm-hmm.
Should we leave it to chance? I'll probably try to go that night, but
There's no harm posting it either.
no. But we won't be making any decisions.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to make you aware of those dates. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Subsidized housing inventory.
This is at Eloise's request to get the update to DHCD on the River Bridge Apartments.
Yes.
Because they're apartments, she and the building inspector say that all 204 units would count, even though only 21 are affordable.
Okay.
But the paperwork I need to finish today was a very busy, compacted Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get that for you if you want to approve it by signature by the chair. There's a couple, I think I need some things from the apartment people themselves, which is the funding source. Are they using mass financing, mass development money, whatever they're getting their money sourcing from?
Okay.
This could also probably wait until next week, couldn't it, since we are at our limit and nobody can come in anyways?
She says it's helpful to get this done faster rather than later. She actually was hoping that it had already happened, because she says it impacts what DHC would count towards our housing production plan. Or if you want to wait, you can wait.
Well, it's just numbers that, or information that needs to be filled in though, Mary?
Yeah. It's not in its final form there.
Okay. But the signature page is right here.
That's right.
Okay. So what's your pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Yeah, let's just push it if it needs to go. Seconded?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
7:10.
Yep. We're having an appointment with the Agricultural Commission.
Good evening, ladies.
Hi, gentlemen.
Could I ask one of you to swing around just so that the camera gets you and the
Sure.
audience can hear you?
All right.
That'd be awesome,
Is
thank
this
you.
my best side?
Both sides are your best sides, so you pick.
Okay, so, excuse me. We're here this evening to make a recommendation to this board concerning an award of a contract for the purpose of installing a well and a pump at the community garden. On the 21st of February, we sent out a request for quote. The quotes were due on the 22nd of March. We had a site visit scheduled for the 8th of March. Attached to the quote letter, a statement of work. I received input from the building inspector Conservation Commission, Board of Health agent, Mary, and I think that's it. So that was the statement of work that went out to the contractors.
Okay.
We had 7 contractors that we sent it out to, and they came from the Massachusetts Department of Certified Well Diggers. So, on the 8th of March, we had 1 contractor show up for the site visit, Sontag Pump.
That sounds difficult.
And on the bids itself, we had 1 bid from Sontag Pump. So let me hand that out to you first. And,
Showing up is an important qualification.
Yes, it is.
there you go.
You? Thank you.
Do you need one, my friend? All right. And after you've read that, I have an analysis of that bid that I'll be handing
Okay.
out as well. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to read that, and then we'll analyze it.
Would this go in this year?
Pardon me?
Would it go in for this?
This project has to be done by, we told the contractors, by the 14th of June. We have to submit a final report to the state by the 30th of June, so it has to be done in that timeframe.
Quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just curious, because this is for the town of Berlin, can we potentially waive the permit fee or not?
I think it could be. Just request.
Is that the electrical one?
Yeah.
There's a well permit.
The Board of Health one, and then a potential one for the electrical permit.
Yeah.
which I don't know about the waiving of the Board of Health one, since we're dealing with Neshoba, but
Yeah, probably not that. I was
Right.
just wondering if
But
for town
on a-
stuff we could potentially.
Right.
we may not need the electrical one. We'll discuss that in a few minutes.
Okay. Okay.
So we asked the contractors to give us a fixed price plus a contingency. And essentially, Sontag has done that. He didn't use that terminology. Did everybody have one?
Yes.
But that's basically what he did. So, using his numbers, of course, based on a 300-foot deep well at $12 an hour, $12 a foot rather, and by the way, our building inspector thinks that's a very good price. He claims that they're usually higher than that, so he believes that's a good figure of $12 per foot. So that gives you $3,600. 40 feet of 6-inch piping at $18 a foot, $720. A 6-inch drive shoe. This is a device. It's an expendable item that's necessary to keep the shaft or the piping straight. So that's $100. So now we're at $4,420. We asked for a minimum of a half horsepower stainless steel pump, and he's quoted $3,400 for that. Water testing, $175. Well permit, $100. So we're up to $8,095. He's also included, not in his total figures, but within the body of his quote, a statement concerning digging of mud holes and cleanup. We had asked in our request that because we're in conservation land, that the site be left the way it was found. So they have to clean it up, can't leave any drillings behind, have to level it out, have to seed it. But with respect to the mud holes, my understanding, again, talking to the building inspector, in the process of digging a well like this, you're going to have various liquids that are poured into the well, and there's approximately 1 gallon for every foot of drilling. So that slurry has to be put someplace. So the contractor will be digging a hole, which they refer to as a mud hole, and that's where the slurry goes. So he's estimated that it'll be approximately $1,200. Mary and I have discussed this point. We would recommend that we try to have the contractor agree to a not-to-exceed number. either the $1,200 or perhaps $1,500. If he's got to go deeper than 300 feet, he'll need a bigger mud hole. So that discussion I've had with Mary on that point. So now, with the $1,200, we're up to $9,295. Potential adjustments to a 300-foot well and pump. So you saw in the beginning of his quote that he stated that the wells in the area where the garden is located run between 300 and 500 feet. So if he has to go another 200 feet to get an adequate water supply, bringing it up to 500 feet, using the same amount per foot, that'd be another $2,400. If he had to put additional pipelining in, and I estimated at 25 feet, that would be $450. That may not be a reality. It may not come to fruition because if he hits bedrock at 40 feet, he wouldn't have to line it any further. But I just put it in there as a potential.
Okay.
So that's $450, and now we're up to $12,145.
Yeah.
Other potential adjustments and unknowns. You saw in his quote, he made a statement concerning if the pump is left hanging from a flat seal. We don't recommend this. If we went along with his recommendation, we could delete $700 from the price. And the reason we don't recommend it is, think of it as your home, having a well put in at your home, all right? You want to have the well set up so that the wiring and the piping can go right into the house, hooked up to a tank, hooked up to the power, and ready to go. That's what we want at the community garden. We have a tank in the shed, okay? Eventually, we hope to get electricity there. So we want it set up that the pump will be ready to go, all right? If we had it just come to the top of the well and just cap there, that's where he's saying he could do the elimination of $700. But we want to have it up and ready to go. So that's why we don't recommend taking up his offer. Now, other considerations here. If the well has to go deeper than 300 feet, all right, we may need a larger pump, perhaps a 3/4 horsepower pump. Again, in talking to the building inspector, that should be under $500. In other words, the delta between a half horsepower and 3/4 should be something less than $500. So I just identified that.
In addition.
In addition,
Right.
yes. But we don't know where we're going to be, so I didn't put it in the
Right.
money column. Electrical inspection fee, the contractor raised that concern. He's right from the point of view that this isn't going to be hooked up to power immediately, all right? However, when we wrote this statement of work, we wanted to make sure that somebody with knowledge of these sort of things examine the pump to make sure it was a 3-wire pump. That's what we asked for. That it was properly attached to the pump. That we had what we call these dampeners that are put on the pump, so when it kicks in, it won't vibrate. So we wanted somebody knowledgeable. So we said you have to have the building inspector look at it, and the electrician look at it.
Okay.
So that's why he raised that issue. So whether it be a fee, whether we can waive the fee, in any event, if he's required to pay the fee, I think because he highlighted it, we should reimburse him for that, unless we can get it waived. So he also mentioned about digging a trench from the well to the shed. But he didn't identify any price for that. When we had the site visit, I pointed out to the contractor that we'd like to have the well as close as we could to the garden shed and in behind the garden shed. Now, the contractor is also obligated to get a site plan approved by the Board of Health and the Conservation Commission. Now, as a result of that process, for example, if they say, well, the well's got to be 50 feet that way, okay, we certainly wouldn't expect the contractor to have to dig a trench 50 feet from that point to the shed. So, again, Mary and I have discussed that. she has to have a dialogue with the contractor, and it's fine. I have not spoken to the contractor at all concerning this, because I don't think that's my position. I think that's Mary's position.
Mhm.
So Marion and I have gone over that, and that issue has to be clarified. Other conditions. Part of our procurement package were various certifications that the contractor has had to sign. He has complied with that. They are in the procurement package. He's fulfilled his obligation there. We had asked for the bids to be valid for 30 days, which means the bids expire on the 21st of April. If you agree with our recommendation, which we'll be getting to in a minute, I think we should have a dialogue with him right away, identifying that he's a selected contractor, and we'll be proceeding and giving him an award before his bid expires.
Okay.
The contractor's quote did not call out a specific period of performance. We made it clear in the request for quote that everything had to be done, including copies of the final report, by the 14th of June, 2019. So therefore, Mary, again, should emphasize that when she's discussing it with the contractor, and perhaps put it in the purchase order or contract or whatever instrument you folks are going to use. The contractor is also required to provide information concerning workman's compensation, liability insurance, and liability insurance up to $2 million, and naming the town of Berlin as an additional insured. So before he starts work, we have to make sure that he submits those as required under the terms of the statement of work. Let's see. Again, whatever instrument, I don't know if you use a purchase order, contract, whatever you all call it, that instrument should make reference to our statement of work, because that ties everything together. And finally, at our April 9th meeting, the Agricultural Commission members who were present at the time voted unanimously that you should make the award to Sontag Pump Company.
Okay.
Have any questions?
I don't remember, what was the grant for this?
$25,000. So if all goes well, we could possibly end up with a $10,000 surplus or something in that neighborhood. I would recommend that if that ends up being the case, which we'll probably know better in June,
Yeah.
at that time we should notify, what's the representative's name? Senator's name?
Senator Tran.
Tran, thank you. And say if we can't, see if we couldn't carry that money over and apply it to getting the electrical and other hookups that's necessary. The other thing I would mention also, I think this board has to identify someone or some person that can make a decision relative to what we tell the contractor when he's drilling. What I mean by that is, I'll give you an example. If on a Tuesday afternoon, he says, I'm at 300 feet, I'm getting 2 gallons per minute, you want me to stop or keep drilling? Somebody has to be in a position to say, keep drilling at least another 100 feet and see where we are then. We can't come to a special board meeting while he's sitting there waiting for a decision. Okay? So you all have to identify someone who has the authority to tell the contractor, keep going for another 100 feet, and up to, I would say, a maximum of 500. So I just throw out that for your consideration.
Okay. You have a recommendation?
It's up to the board, whatever you'd like to do. If that's what you want. I mean, I just think it's important, because you don't know at what time frame he's going to be
Oh,
there.
absolutely.
And to those guys, time is
It
money.
is.
So you got to be able to make a decision.
Kind of a problem. We can't get together, without,
right.
you
Right.
know,
If you
48
want me to
hours
take that on,
notice.
I don't have a problem with that. I'd be glad to do that, and I'll keep it certainly within the boundaries that we've discussed here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you vote that to authorize that, so he can do that?
Sure.
So voted.
Motion.
I got it.
Yeah, okay.
You wanted to vote it.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Very good.
Ask and you shall receive.
Yeah. Right. Thanks.
Hey, I belong to this community garden, so I will be thrilled.
Yes, I know you do.
Yes, I'd
Good.
be thrilled that there will be pump,
Yes.
instead of
Water under
dumping my
pressure.
water bucket,
Yeah, water under
halfway
pressure
over.
will be good.
Mhm. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what we're striving for.
Well, that's great.
So, Mary, I have the original of this quote. I'd like to hand that over to you.
Okay.
And
So do we make a motion?
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Based on those contingencies.
Right.
Correct.
Yep.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
okay, very good. Thank you, ladies.
Do us proud.
All
My
right.
little tomatoes will be quite happy.
We'll try.
If they don't, I'm stealing them from Sue. Carol's part of it.
Very good. Mary, if you need any information or help, with the Sontag people,
Okay.
you have my email.
Okay.
And I know you know how to get in touch with me.
Yeah. I will.
Thank you so
I will-
much, both of you. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Okay. That's pretty close to 7:30. Why don't we we'll go ahead and have our 7:30 appointment, the POTUS solar array.
Evening.
Hi there.
Hi. I did see somebody's email come through in the last couple hours, but I figured I'd show up anyway because I do
Okay.
have some information.
Okay, good.
So, I have been working with Attorney Holland, who I believe is representing the town on this. So I've been working with him. It's been painstakingly slow process with him to get this approved. So, but I do have.
Thanks.
What I'm trying to get approved is through one of the conditions of the special permit for the solar array that's fully, it's approved, and we're just getting everything ready now, all the pre-construction conditions kind of checked off. One of them is a decommissioning surety that is to be posted with the town. So what I'm trying to do at this point is get the form of that approved in the estimate for the number of what the bond will be for approved.
Okay.
And then I believe the condition states that the bond has to be posted with the town prior to construction, so I figure the first step is get the format of the bond and the language all approved, and that's kind of what I've been working with Attorney Holland with. So
Okay.
he has provided me with a bond. Normally, we have a bond, one bond surety language, a form that we use with the company, that we use on all of our projects, but some towns prefer to have their own previously vetted and approved language that they use, and Attorney Holland had that. So he drafted this for me. The first part, I have a number of copies. The first page is just a letter that basically, part of the conditions state that there has to be a letter that we agree to between the town and the principal of the bond. So that first section, really all it does is it's missing some signature lines. I'm sure he wants to add some spots to sign, but basically what it does is agree that Zero Point and ZPD Energy Solutions, who is the applicant on the solar array in the town of Berlin, are agreeing to a bond that covers them per the zoning bylaw section that talks about the surety bond that's required when you do a large-scale solar project. So that's really kind of just a short little paragraph about that, and then the other 3 pages is the format of the bond that Attorney Holland supplied us. So he supplied this to us, so I think he's obviously
Language, yeah.
comfortable with this. The only thing we did is I had to ask the surety company to make sure that they will be able to use this language and cover this language under a bond. The only thing they added is on the second page, the yellow highlighted paragraph. So I had sent that, I think, over a couple, like maybe 2 weeks ago to Attorney Holland, and I said, this is a small section that our surety people wanted to add into this. I think it should be fine. They had said they kind of include this on all of their bonds. And really all it says is that, it sounds crazy at first, it says the surety may cancel this bond at any time by giving the owner, which in this case would be the town of Berlin, 90 days written notice of its desire to be relieved of liability. But then it follows that by saying, should the principal fail to provide a replacement bond or an alternate financial assurance acceptable to the town within 60 days, then the surety will default and the penal sum, which was the amount of the bond, would be forfeited. So it just allows for them, for whatever reason, to be able to cancel it, but it puts a mechanism in there that it would have to be replaced within 60 days.
Okay. And
So-
has this been something that Attorney Holland has said okay, or
He's
hasn't
seen it, but
answered yet?
he hasn't answered it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, we permitted the project. Obviously, we weren't going to start it back, in the winter, but we've been looking to try to check off some of these boxes so we can get started
Mhm.
soon. And it's been tough on the communication. I have talked to him a few times. I had originally proposed our own form of bond. He wasn't really happy with that, so he wanted to stick with this.
Okay.
And we just have to make sure our surety company will cover it,
Right.
That's all we cared about. So I don't expect that was an issue, but I haven't specifically got him confirmation from him. So,
We could
I know you guys make
push
the...
a little, maybe.
Yeah, I
Just to
figured
at least get an answer.
to come here, at least, I know, and at the end of the day, the board makes the call under his recommendation.
Right.
And again, I don't think that he would have any problems, but it's been tough to get final confirmation from
Right.
him. So that's the form aspect of it,
Okay.
which is one piece of it. And then the other piece of it is an estimate, which I have some copies of that to provide for you. So this is, again, part of the zoning bylaws that says an estimate will come with this decommissioning scope. So we provide these, to justify what the cost is for this bond, what will be the penal sum. So in this case, everything's kind of broken down, and the total on the sum is $306,363, which we've shown basically how we've got there. What is going to be the scope? The decommissioning scope is basically, you come in there and you kind of remove all the panels, remove all the electrical wires, the poles, the equipment, kind of regrade if you need to, which I don't foresee there being much need for that because it's fairly flat and there's not a whole lot of regrading. Basically, it's restoration of the site without growing the trees back there that have been cut down as part of the array. So this walks through the scope, the various line items. Just a couple things to note. All of the rates for the contractors who will be getting paid in their scope is all prevailing wage. Attorney Holland, when we did briefly talk about this, he had asked that we do not, normally we have like a list of what the cost is and we include salvage value because there's a number of like the panels, the copper, all that stuff is worth money and whoever does the contracting part gets to salvage all that equipment. So we normally do like a cost and a salvage value and we take the salvage value out of what the bond would be for. He asked specifically that does not be included because it's, I guess, an unknown in 25 years
Exactly.
what that cost,
Yeah.
what that value is going to be.
Right.
So we did not include that here, just to make sure that we were following his advice, and we did also mark it up for inflation over the 25 years. So that was, and also a 10% markup for whatever contractor that's typical of a contractor to mark it up 10%. So I think if this number is I think pretty conservative for us. I think we'll certainly cover that, the cost of the decommissioning scope. And if there's any questions, I can help out.
And the Attorney Holland has seen this also?
He has not seen this.
Okay.
I don't know if he had planned to review this or not.
I'm not sure.
I think we had asked him to do the
Everything.
whole ball of wax.
Okay. Well, at least
So would
now,
this be
hopefully,
something, I mean-
the board is aware.
It seems unlikely he'd be checking numbers and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't, it's typically not something that I've ever had experience with attorneys kind of looking at, especially if they're not like in the contracting business and familiar with being able to say if these are like, correct estimates or not. But I guess that's up to the board's
Right.
discretion to decide if he wants to look at it. I think if he was to look at it, he'd probably look for the same things that he told me when we talked about it. Do not, I don't want to see you guys accounting for the salvage value of the equipment out there, and make sure that you have something in there for
Yeah.
inflation, which we included. So, that's where we're at. We're obviously, time is a factor for us. We'd like to get these things checked off as quickly as we can so we can move forward. We still have to apply and get a building permit. These are kind of things that are preventing us from doing that. So, I'm here. Hopefully, I was hoping to get these approved tonight. If you still need to talk to Attorney Holland, I understand. But
Yeah, we do.
With this one, it might make more sense to run it by the building inspector
That's what I was thinking.
rather than the attorney,
Or,
because I don't think he'd know anything
I don't know if the
about-
assessors would be helpful.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Not sure. But
You could
we-
certainly send it over and see if Molly has any comments.
Right.
I mean, knowing about, yeah.
Yeah.
That seems smart.
In the past, we've had, town engineers. I don't know if Berlin has a town engineer, but I think building commissioner probably is just, a good source of information as far as looking at these things and
Right.
has some experience looking at, contractor proposals. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
these are, these numbers were taken right from the construction company that's going to be building the array, so they're familiar with this stuff, and we do it for every project that we do. So, any questions, I'm here to answer, and
Okay.
will be in the future. So, if you don't mind, just kind of pinging Attorney Holland to see if he can.
Maybe we can request that he have this back to us by Monday.
Put a date on it, yep.
Yeah.
yep.
Okay. I think so that's all I had for the decommissioning stuff, and I think there was also a topic on the right of first refusal. So the other thing we're doing, another condition prior to getting a building permit, is
Right.
the whole Chapter 61A removal.
Mm-hmm.
So that paperwork has been submitted. I think we submitted that in January. And we've been, I don't know whose court that's in. I believe the final thing that we're looking for is the Board of Selectmen, I believe, are responsible to vote to waive that
Yes.
if they don't have any plans to go forward with the right of first refusal, but here is
Did
well for now.
Attorney Holland, yes,
be
did
right
he,
there.
he's good with this?
That's Attorney Marsters, actually.
Marsters,
who did
I
that
mean.
one. So there's 3 different attorneys who've been working on this for KP Law with varying degrees of communication
Yeah.
between one another.
No wonder there's a
that
communications
was
problem.
This is typical, but this process, especially because there's so much going on
Yeah.
with the, conservation restriction, the Chapter 61A, the decommission, it's not typical that all 3 of those things are required, but in this
Mhm.
case it is, and there's a different, separate representative
Yeah,
from
I don't know
KP
at
Law.
what point you want to shift costs back to the applicant for any of this stuff. But nonetheless, that is what Attorney Marsters provided.
I don't think there's a cost associated with
all the
this.
legal work?
No, just this particular right
There
of
isn't a
first
cost,
refusal, no.
There
It's
isn't.
just gonna be the final bill for all their time.
Right, rollback taxes.
And I think that I had talked about that with Attorney Holland, that I thought he would include something like that. Not perhaps in the right of first refusal, but.
No, not.
Right. So I think we will have to ping him.
He has not provided any direction on that aspect either.
No,
Mhm.
right of first refusal was by a different attorney.
Yes.
He provided us that form, and he said, as long as the town doesn't want it, which Conservation did not want it, and it doesn't sound like there is interest in the town.
Right.
So this we could approve tonight.
It sounds
think
like,
so.
yeah,
Okay,
if that's your wish.
Motion to approve.
second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So we'll get you a third of the way there.
That's one thing off the list. It's progress. So I will plan to come back at the next Board of Selectmen meeting, and hopefully, unless you can't get in touch with them before then.
We'll keep you posted.
Okay. All right. Thank you
How's
very
that?
much. It's good. Thank you for the time.
Thanks for coming by and all the hard work for this.
No problem.
I know it's your job, but still.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure actually here, so I appreciate it.
Okay, so signed.
Okay. All right. Highway facility exterior lighting update. We've gotten an email this afternoon. And basically, I'm just going to read the conclusion.
Yeah.
Dave Smith has turned off 2 of the 3 lights that are parallel to the street from the emails received. Mrs. Slipka's daughter, Doreen, has stated the family is satisfied with this remedy. The 1 light that remains on, and in conjunction with the wall-mounted fixtures on the building, seems to be adequately illuminating the parking area to satisfy the building code requirements of the 1-foot candle at the walking surface for the exit discharge and the zoning bylaw. If desired, Highway Facilities Superintendent David Smith could verify this with his light meter. And then another alternative would be looking into installing shields onto the existing fixtures and or dimming the lights. The remaining lights that were on are very bright.
Thank you.
Do you have
If
anything?
Mrs. Lipka is happy with the progress and adjustments we made, I would say that let's end this.
Yeah, I did. I got an email from Doreen last week. After you would turn the lights on, I had taken a drive-by, and I noticed the difference.
You turned them off?
Off.
Sorry about that. Turned them off. And Doreen said that her mother was thrilled, so I think we're good.
Okay.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Welcome.
made one resident of Berlin very happy.
Yes, made her very happy. And we didn't need to buy her blinds.
Nope. Okay. Annual town meeting update.
The warrant is signed, and
Yep.
I'm waiting just for the constable will come by this week to physically post it.
Okay. You had
That's-
the things straightened out that we were working on last week? I forget
Yes.
what it was now.
Taking out the police video,
Okay.
and actually, so although I think it's totally done, if need be, I'm not gonna let them go out the door, because Barry's checking what the FinCom's final list of recommendations were.
Yeah,
He didn't leave that with me, nor do I have it from the FinCom to confirm exactly what recommendations they wanted in the warrant. So Barry has it, and he says he's going to check it. But
okay.
I don't have anything from the FinCom yet on,
I don't know that they even have another posted meeting.
no, so whatever, he got a copy of whatever they did last Wednesday, we didn't. I will ask Buzz. I saw that only this afternoon.
Okay,
I'm gonna ask Buzz to please send it over so that we can make sure before it gets released that's correct.
okay.
So, other than that, you look like you're pretty good.
Alrighty.
I saw an email come through that there was a request for a copy of it, an electronic copy, or if we were gonna post it.
Yeah, what, like, last year, you put up a whole packet of information for voters. Maybe you want to discuss at the next meeting, or even tonight, what things you'd like to go up online so the public is informed about what's coming up at town meeting. Do you want that article to go up, that town council provided from the AG? I don't know. Is there any other stuff you want going? We don't build projects.
I think last year there were things like the recreation
Yeah.
walkway and that actually we had
Right.
items. I'm not sure that we have those types of things
Right.
this year.
Yeah,
If we did, we certainly could, but I don't know that we do.
We don't. So it's just really all the articles that need to go up
yeah, I
in the
guess
annual
so.
town
The
report.
warrant.
Yep,
Right. What's in the warrant?
It's up. The warrant's
It's
up.
been up.
cool.
yeah.
All
Okay.
right. Excellent. Another happy town. They wanted it ahead of time. We got it ahead of time.
Yep. Pat yourself on the back.
Pat all ourselves on the back.
Change the warrant at this point, because it is already up. I don't know,
Cool.
but anyhow.
Okay. Executive recruitment updates. I have not heard from the fire end of MRI. Anybody else? Okay. I did hear this afternoon from Steve Rollins on the TA. He is asking, I told him I could give some kind of a report to you all this evening. He didn't know we had a meeting, but we do. He's asking for us, or he would like the names of the candidates, which Mary sent me this afternoon.
Oh, the screening committee meeting.
Yeah, the screening committee. He must have the emails, but maybe he can't put two and two
Names
together,
and-
who's who. Anyway, he would like a point person for the subcommittee to be chosen, someone he can contact that would at least be able to post the first meeting.
Galvin.
I was going to say either Tom Galvin or Scott Hawkins, because either one of them knows how to post a meeting.
Tom's here all the
Janet
time.
can
though,
post
and
it.
Can you
like,
post a
she's-
meeting?
For the library.
Used to do it for the
Or
library.
Eloise can too. She's also a good choice, and there's all kinds of people who can do it. But as far as getting a hold of somebody routinely in town office, it would probably be Tom.
It doesn't mean, I think
It
when
doesn't
they...
mean anything, it just
It-
means.
Yeah, when they have their first meeting, you all will choose a chair, and that could be another point person also. But this one is just to get the first meeting posted.
I think that was generated from my email because I had a number of people asking me
Yes, he said he had an email
things
from
they
you.
had heard, and I said, well, that's interesting, because we haven't even had a meeting yet, so I don't know where you're hearing any of this information from, so I would
And
go
I've
back to
been-
your source and say, whatever you're hearing is not true, there hasn't been a meeting yet.
Right?
Yeah, and I've been forwarding you
Yep.
as I get. So,
Yeah, but they're saying the committee has met, and we've come up with all this information, and...
Wow, you guys
Excellent
are
job.
really
You're so
proactive.
good. Maybe we should take the fire department on Tuesday. We're so
You got
good.
time. And I need eggs counted, so if you could do that as well.
So their start date would be.
I wish I knew, and so I tried to clarify that with.
No, I was like,
with a-
you've
with a
already got
few-
them hired,
yeah,
right?
With a few people, I said,
What'd you pay him? Did you tell us? You know, just let us know.
but it's funny how they just, the rumor mill.
The wind. The wind just picks
So
it up and
anyways,
goes.
I did email him and say, did I miss a meeting? Because Lisa has been keeping us pretty up to date, and I didn't see, and he's like, no. So the
Well-
meeting was without him as well.
Do we want to just have Janet be the point person?
Just for
at
now, to
this
get the
point?
first meeting up, since you're involved. I make a motion to nominate Janet.
Second.
All approve?
All in favor? Aye.
That's fine. I'll go talk to Eloise and see if she has any suggestions.
Well, if you know how, as long as you know how to
But
post
she
the
can,
meetings and
set up all your
Right.
stuff too, or
Yep.
James
the
can.
passwords and so on,
I have one already, I think.
if you
Okay.
can still use that one.
I think I should be able to.
So he asked me whether people worked who were on the subcommittee. And so he was thinking possibly a Saturday meeting. And it sounded like almost everything might be able to get finished in like maybe one day, maybe two. So, yeah, I think that was about it. Mary, do you have a list of questions that the screening committee should not ask? There's certain rules.
The law?
You know,
I
yes.
would think that MRI probably would
They were,
cover
well,
that.
he was
That's part of
asking
their
us to
job.
send that out, but, I mean, if he has it, he can
We've
send it
never
out.
had such a list of questions.
Well, it's just that, I believe it's the Mass General Law.
Yeah.
Age,
something.
That-
discriminatory
there's-
questions.
Exactly.
They're supposed to
Race,
Age,
handle it.
married, blah, blah, blah.
Gender,
Yeah.
those.
So, like I think we said last week, there were 66 candidates. Essays have been sent or in the process of being sent to 16 of the candidates, which I believe he said were due April 26th, and probably would be scored by the 30th. He's asking us to possibly, I mean, this is tentative, but possibly post our selectmen's meeting for, would be May 20th, to possibly interview. That's tentative, but just a heads up.
Block it.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything on that agenda or not, but,
May 20th, that's a ways out.
right.
It's probably just standard stuff.
Right, it could be just tentative, and then if we have to push it out, we can.
It's your first meeting after
The
the
election.
election.
Right.
So you'd organize yourself that night. And then immediately
Go into that.
go into interviewing finalists.
We could do that.
Okay.
If it does, I mean, if it doesn't work out, I can always let them know that's not gonna work out. or-
No, might as well block it and hold the meeting so nothing else sneaks in.
Okay, I believe that was my update on the town administrator that I had. Anybody else? Nope. Okay. Then we have a request to access town council from the building inspector concerning an issue. I don't know if you saw the email, if that's,
I did not.
can you, well, is it in here? Maybe it's in here. Yes.
It was basically to have them help determine whether it was a new construction or an in-law apartment.
Oh,
It's the lower
Oh.
level of a home.
okay.
They want to do an in-law apartment, but he wants to check with council on whether it should be new or
Okay. That's fine.
in-law. Okay. So do I hear a motion to approve town council for
Motion to
Richard?
approve.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Aye. All right. Other new business or old business. I had just wondered whether the board would like an update from the Building Use Space Committee.
We have an update?
No, we don't have one.
Oh.
We need one. That was the question. Do you
Oh,
want,
I thought we had
do you want,
one.
do you want Mary to email them and ask for an update? Or
Yeah.
should we ask for an appointment? Ask for them to come in and
guys
have an
met?
appointment?
You guys met?
Yeah, how did, yeah.
So,
Is there an update?
we need like one more meeting, so we need another 2 weeks before we come up with something different.
Okay.
We have ideas, we have this, we're doing things. but
Okay.
Awesome.
We need a few more weeks. We've got a form letter that we have, we're gonna have printed up and handed to all department heads asking what their particular needs are for space before we,
Nice.
that's on our long term, before we move forward with anything long
Okay.
term. But we do have, short-term ideas for town administrator office space.
Okay,
For
cool.
a little more money.
Have you thought about outside buildings?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good, good. So maybe in 2 weeks or so?
Yeah, we met today, we're gonna meet again in 2 weeks from today, so
Oh, okay.
3?
it'll be
So
right
maybe
3
3 weeks?
Right.
All right. Can we kind of put that on the calendar as a, hold that?
So then
3
that would
weeks.
be,
Town meeting night, or
So not
election
that
night, or the night after the election that you're interviewing town administrator candidates
Yeah.
How about the week after that?
28th?
of May.
We're already busy.
Yeah.
The 27th then?
8th, because 27th is Memorial Day.
Oh, okay.
The
Is
28th
that why
is
it's
a-
red?
Yes, 28th is a very special day.
Would you like a visit?
Yes.
A visit.
Sure. See
Or
if
an update?
she'll remind you.
Thanks, Mr. Dave.
All right. Well, that was all my new business or old business or
Mary, do you want to
whatever.
introduce the people that walked in? Kind of like as a last minute.
Well, actually, I'm not super familiar, but their question is that they're looking for a sense of the board on whether the town would be okay with granting them a waiver of their request. They have a right of first refusal on chapter land that they have, that this lady would like to partially, sell to her nephew, give to her nephew. If it was a direct blood relative, you wouldn't really even need to go through this process, says Molly, but because it's a nephew, it's far enough removed from her that it takes, again, the town has the right of first refusal. Usually, it comes in writing from an attorney, and we refer it off to conservation, or in this case, recreation, because it's recreationally protected, 61B, you said, land?
61B, yeah.
Yep, so she's just trying to get a sense of the board as to what it would like to do, but I didn't put her on tonight's agenda because it came in, although it came in earlier, it roughly came in basically today.
Yeah.
But also because when it comes in writing, you then just send it to Recreation and Conservation to see if they have any interest. So, I mean, you can go ahead, I think she'd like to still be heard about her request just in general. But still, it would usually come in writing so that they can be sent around formally.
Where's the property?
244 South Street. I'm Chris Flynn.
Okay.
And I own a little more than 14 acres. And I'd like to, and it's in 61B right now. Most of it except for the 2 that I live on. This is my nephew's wife, Jen.
Hi.
And what we'd like to do is just get a sense of whether the town would be, would give us would want to pass on first right of refusal, since I'm taking it out of the 61B to give a portion of that to my nephew, and then he would take most of that, but put back an additional 5+ acres into the 61B, and then take the 5 that he would like to build a house and a barn and live there with his kids and his wife. And that's primarily what he'd like to do. So we're looking to find out if the town would, look at first right of refusal on something like this. It's a fairly small piece. It's all wetlands down by Northbrook, borders Walter Bickford's property, and then
In the
comes
back?
up the hill and
Oh, okay.
the old hills. I don't know if
I'm off South Street, so I kind of know what you're talking about.
it's the old hills property, which is up on the hill there. And I've been there for 45 years. My husband and I came into town 45 years ago, and, we've lived there for all this time and pretty much paid most of the property taxes, but when he died, I had to put some of it into 61B to try to help me financially with the tax burden.
Okay.
So now I'm trying to give some of the land to my nephew, but he would also like to put back that piece that's, he'll pay the taxes on it, but put back the 65 acres into the 61B.
Yeah. I think if you send the information, can you send the information, send it to the selectman's office? And
Sure.
I have some
Um,
information here.
okay.
This is our notice of intent. I'm sorry, I only have 2 copies. My husband only
Okay.
gave me 2 copies, so
That's
I...
right.
You can
I
email it
I
to, so it could
apologize.
go to
Okay.
conservation easily. It's probably easier
Email
to
it?
have a digit.
Mhm.
Okay.
Better idea?
Okay.
Is it signed? Is it?
She
I
can
can
sign
sign
it,
it.
but she wasn't aware if she needed to sign it in front of y'all, or she could sign it.
No, there's no witnessing needed.
Okay. There's also a municipal mapper on here that my husband's done some extensive work on, that points out where everything will be, where the house will be, where they're looking at putting the septic and all of that stuff. So, if you want to, are you going to sign that copy? Or
I signed this.
Would you all
yep.
like the paper copies?
Sure.
Since they're
I
already,
mean,
It may
they're
be
already
worth
printed and
actually
And this is the
visiting
one that I just
conservation
signed.
To
Okay.
talk to them the same way you came here.
So by filing it, you're starting a clock ticking, which is fine. The town needs to answer within X many days.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Lisa, what did you say?
Oh, I just said you may want to stop in and speak directly to conservation to explain
Okay,
what your intent is.
Okay.
Because really, they're going to be the ones who are going to be looking closely
That
at
have
this.
to
would
look
be
at
my
this.
guess, Yeah.
And
Since
do
you're
you-
dealing with conservation land.
yeah.
Do you know their next meeting date? We have the 26th, but that's
They
a
have
forum.
something on
Isn't there one
Wednesday,
this
but
week?
that's an open space and
Right.
recreation plan, actually, as it turns out. Not sure if we're meeting after that.
So should I,
Do you
Should I by
if you
email?
I can copy all of you on me sharing this with recreation and conservation.
Yes, ma'am.
okay, and then should I email them on a separate, under separate cover and
If you give
ask
me
for
your
an...
email addresses and your names, I can connect you all at
Okay.
the same time that I'm giving it to them.
Okay,
So that
sounds
way
great.
everyone knows who everyone is.
All right, very
Okay.
good.
All right.
Sorry, we're
Awesome.
interlopers tonight.
No,
Thank you
that's
so
fine.
much. We had been told by a couple of other people that we could just come, we didn't need an appointment, and we totally would have made an appointment. My husband's just retired from the military, and he's very militant about time. He's also an airline pilot. And so when I tell him we need an appointment, he will.
Precise.
Thank you very much for hearing us.
All right,
today.
oh, no
Absolutely. Happy
Really
to help.
appreciate it. Thank
Do they
you.
have one on the 17th, the night before the?
Yeah, that's Wednesday.
Yeah, that would be their normal meeting time. And the 18th is the other one. Is the Thursday is the forum.
forum.
So I think they meet this Wednesday.
Yeah.
So tomorrow or?
That's
Yes,
tomorrow.
at 7.
Okay.
And it's just down the hall.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
But if you
Thank you
give
so
me your
much.
email, I
Thank
can
you.
connect you all tonight. So that
Appreciate it.
she can reach out to you.
Thanks for letting her sneak in. She did, she got here about quarter
I
of.
didn't hear anything about this.
She just walked in tonight to share.
Oh, okay, before I got
So,
here?
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I was counting when she came in.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh, sure.
Susan, did you get these two? Those are the
Yeah,
web
he
things.
showed it to me, but he wanted to give it to us in final form, so there
And
it is.
there's a signature on one of these, so
On
it's in here.
that they just gave you.
Yes.
Right.
She signed it, Chris signed it.
That's starting to.
Chris.
That Chris, not that Chris.
Yep.
Okay.
Did you have something, Marty, or were you just visiting?
No camera.
All right. Is there, do you have any other updates, business?
Nay.
All right, then I will accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Mr.